back to Moral Classroom. So today I'm standing in front of the board, and I consider that we are going to say something important about the process of changing human heart. Okay. Now this verse is from the book, from the Korean moral book that Mr. Shin called a moral book. I consider that it's a very profound cultivation book. Okay, it is a cultivator from Korean history and modern time, and his name is Mr. Yue Gun, and he cultivated his heart. Okay, and he reached to a certain level beyond humanness. Okay, and when his heart is no longer human heart, his heart is beyond humanness, and heaven provided him with some very important moral teachings. Use Chinese characters to directly reflect into his mind. I was told by Mr. Shim that Mr. Yue didn't teach Chinese, didn't learn Chinese characters, and all his writings in the book that he passed down, actually all the Chinese characters was from his enlightened meditative thought that the heaven, the universe, provided him with these words. That's why I will say that these words has the power from the heaven. And the heaven wants human beings to pay attention. And so Mr. Yue was just a vehicle. Okay, he was chosen because he was pure enough, his mind was clean enough, his heart was noble enough, okay, that the heaven's message can be reflected right into his heart and into his mind. So a cultivator, a genuine cultivator, can have this ability to directly, interact with a higher knowledge from the higher beings that we call the divine beings. Okay, truth, actually, for the human beings, the real truth does not come from human mind. The truth actually is from heaven. We call it heaven, which means beyond humanness, high above there. Okay, so many modern people don't understand this very important aspect. Modern people think that their knowledge comes from scientific research. They think, oh, if scientists prove it's true, then we believe it's true. If scientists cannot prove it, it's not true. But the scientists are human, okay? So scientists can prove certain things very, very limited in the human world, human level knowledge. But to the level that's beyond the human, the truth, scientists will never understand either, okay? Now, scientists don't understand those truths, but does that mean that they're not true? They're true. Just human mind is ignorant, okay? Now, some human beings can have access to those truths. And what kind of human beings they can have access to those truths? Cultivators. Only when those cultivators that can elevate their moral level. Morality is not only one level. Morality has multiple levels. Yeah. Okay, there are some rudimental, fundamental moral disciplines for human to be human. But once you become human, you can continue to upgrade your moral levels, continue to upgrade. And when you reach higher and higher, basically the wisdom, the enlightened truths that your mind can receive is higher and higher. Okay, so cultivation is not for you to live happily ever after as a human. Cultivation is about to fulfill your life. Okay, cultivation is to fulfill your life. Because the purpose of your life is not to live as a human. To be a human, do you know why you become a human? It's the design of our Creator. Our Creator designed to have a plane called a human society. And in this plane, everything is made of molecules. Okay? This is called a molecular plane. Okay? At the molecular plane, my body is made of molecules. The air I breathe in, the invisible, as if empty space, right, between me and the rest of the things. It seems to be empty, but if you use microscope to look at it, it's all made of molecules. There is no gap, okay? The whole area, everything that you can see, you can touch, you can study, it's molecular world. So our spirit is not molecular, okay? Our mind, our spirit is not molecular. So our spirit is being buried by the molecular world. Understand? Yeah. We need to understand, if our vision, right, is have the capacity of a microscope, you need to see that we actually are in the molecular world. Our spirit is being buried here. Okay? But this is not the only existence in the universe. It's not the only plane. There are many, 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 many planes. Okay? The many, many planes, if you look deeper and deeper into it, you will see that our spirit comes from very, very microcosmic plane. In that plane, all the things are made not by molecules, but by the particle that is so small that modern science, human instrument can never, ever be able to understand it. So that's why in the human world, we are lost in delusion, okay? Our eyes cannot see the truth. Everything we know is not true, but we are buried here. Therefore, we need to live here, okay? Now, in order to live here, there must be also a way for us to interact with the molecular world, and that is the human body, okay? So this human body is designed by our Creator for the human spirit, which is now dropped down to the lowest level, molecular garbage level. Actually, in the eyes of the higher beings with much power, particles is very small. They look at this world, it's dirty, it's very filthy, it's very low, and the lives in this world, they don't see the truth, okay? And they are wearing this molecular body, human body, because they need to interact with the rest of the molecular life entities to live. And for the human being to live here, in the molecular plane, there is a human heart. It's designed by the divine to have a human heart, okay? So I want to bring this truth out because if human beings don't understand, the human heart has a very special feature, okay? For the human beings to live in the molecular plane, human beings must follow human nature. And that's why in the human world, do you know, it's called 胜者为王. Whoever claims victory will be the king, correct? You can 兵争天下, you can build a military force and fight the war and conquer, correct? This is the human world law. For human beings to live here, the divine planned that for human beings to be so. So human beings are selfish, it's designed to be so. Human beings, if they're not selfish, they cannot live here. They must be taking care of themselves in every way. So it's natural people want to have money, power, women, okay? Human beings are made like that. So when you say the baby came into this world, they are good, their heart is good, in what standard? If talk about just the natural instinct of a human body, that's correct. That heart is just to be so. The baby came into this world, they want to be loved, right? When they're hungry, they need to eat. When they're thirsty, they need to drink, correct? The body has all the natural wanting, desire, lust, right? Jealousy. All human beings are born with it. Okay, jealousy mentality, anger, right? Sadness, right? Anxiety, right? fighting with other people. Little kids, they already start to fight with each other for toys or food, correct? It's called human nature, okay? Those are designed for human beings to live in the molecular plane. You know, so what is defined as good heart? What's defined as bad heart? Those are the very important things we need to gradually make things clear. But the human world is just a human world. It is so, okay? Now, fundamental moral discipline is the following. Fundamental human moral is that for the human beings to do things that is not going to violate the humanness. If you just want to compete with other people and win and get more money, right? That's fine. Do it. Compete. Okay? Whoever wins gonna get more, right? It's allowed. It's not considered to be morally bad. But if you compete with other people not using the correct principle, if you start to deceive, right? If you start to rob, right? If you start to kill, correct? Those are becoming the fundamental moral disciplines for human beings. That has nothing to do with changing heart. Okay? That basically say this is a rule, follow it. Okay? But the human heart is not touched. Human heart is not touched when you teach people moral disciplines. No. Unless people's heart is so evil they only want to kill, well, they have to change that, right? But fundamentally, what means human heart? Human heart basically is about humans' selfish, driven motivations to do human things. That's human heart. Now, if you want to change it, that actually has something to do with cultivation. So that's what I'm telling you. If you view today's lecture, this verse, as pure moral verse, it's very confusing. What to change about? That's why I ask you questions. But if it is viewed as cultivation, that is deep. Okay? So I'm going to get into the cultivation aspect about this verse. Okay? Pause.